Hi, this is Kasian, and it's time for a weekly conference call at VectorspaceAI. We'll start with what's happening around the world. Evergrande. Bloomberg is reporting that cash crunch at Evergrande, China's most indebted developer, and a regulatory crackdown on the nation's real estate market stoked fears about the possible financial contagion. Markets also reacted to U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen's warning of economic catastrophe if lawmakers fail to raise the debt ceiling. BTC is trading at 44K and ETH is at 3,100 with the Dow at 34.7. On the industry side, we have just one piece of news. NASA empowers a workforce to advance deep space technologies. And under themes and events, Evergrande. What we're looking at here is a possible systemic risk. The word contagion is used. The word contagion was used by Gur Huberman. This is a professor out of Columbia University, where we based most of our work from in terms of generating thematic baskets related to global events. When you look at systemic risk, most look for another shoe to drop. So we are keeping a close eye on Evergrande, and we are analyzing its components. The components in the thematic basket, these would be stocks related to or with potential hidden connections to Evergrande. We'll go over those in a bit. On the corporate side, under our legal section, progress has been made in domiciling to the U.S. from Malta. We actually just got off the phone today with both groups. On the HR side, we're establishing a quant group and we continue to hire. And on the quant group side, we are looking to engage with third-party backtesting providers. We've engaged with one and there will be others, but we do need to have our own internal quant group as we roll out baskets for retail. Underneath engineering, product, QA, and ops, we have a direct update from engineering, and I quote, E&G is working hard on turning models into usable notebooks for the Chicago Trade Show. We are evaluating 26 different combinations of data and hyperparameters. Visualizations are being created to better show our thematic baskets, heat maps, and a graph network to help explain how a query is connected to a basket, or how a thematic event is connected to a basket's components. We are improving our QA processes with a hybrid score, including basket returns and relevance, qualitative and quantitative metrics. And there's ongoing API work, and we also have, as mentioned, specific work related to Python notebooks, where we will be distributing these notebooks to any that are interested, and of course partnering with our current collaborators and customers related to distribution of data sets through notebooks. And we can continuing under engineering, product, QA, and ops, we are engaged in a new effort in a new industry, an industry that we've operated in before, and this is the legal technology industry. Specifically, this relates to the summarization of depositions. In the legal technology industry, deposition summarization is usually done by humans. We are going to use our technology to engage in context-controlled summarization of depositions for the legal industry. And of course, there's a quick path to revenue there. And under Space Biosciences, everything is in process. And under finance, we've got Morningstar. If you do a quick search for Morningstar and notebooks, you can get a glimpse in terms of our work with Morningstar and what we can look forward to, what the public can look forward to in the future, including institutional and retail, as Morningstar has initiated the distribution of notebooks for data sets. Under customers, partners, and collaborators, everything is in process. And our EVP of sales, Ted Sterali, has organized a partnership for us. He's arranged for a partnership with SIGTech. SIGTech SigTech's tagline is next generation quant trading platform. They offer a variety of services, in particular backtesting. We have our own internal backtesting systems, but it's much more important to rely on third-party backtesting systems, just like third-party or outside accountants or auditing firms. One backtest that we ran was the GME, the GameStop basket. So as many might remember, we produced a GameStop basket with pretty healthy returns. We'll be publishing those returns from SigTech at the Chicago Trade Show, and they are impressive. We're also going to look forward to publishing returns for the coronavirus basket, which started January 20th, 2021. That's when we generated the basket. Under exchanges, we are making progress. We've completed our KYC and AML applications for KuCoin, and we are also completing a few other applications related to market making firms. Those have been complete. Right now, it's just a matter of waiting, possibly a couple of weeks. Under IR, PR, and Marcom, you can see that everything mentioned thus far is going to associate to a PR. And what we can look forward to would be communication from our collaborators and our partners, customers, and revenue sharing distribution partners. So we've got a large pipeline on the PR side. So there's a lot to talk to the public about in the coming weeks. Next, we'll move on to questions from the trader base. Question 1, when the baskets are set into a long basket and a short basket, is the trade automatically executed, or does it just inform you and you then go on to do the trades yourself? Well, currently we don't offer automated execution of baskets, but we will with our partners that are on the street. These are also partners that are related to exchanges. What we're really looking forward to would be a way to utilize a one-click approach to executing on traditional market securities in addition to crypto. The executing on crypto from our side is the easy part. But when you look at a crypto exchange and you might want to execute on traditional market securities, that's a little more complex. So for now, we don't offer full trade execution, but we will be partnering with exchanges on full trade execution, including KuCoin. And this would include full trade execution on baskets that are made up of crypto, not just stocks. Question 2, are you not concerned that the price is increasing exponentially before buybacks happened? I understand you intend to buy you intend to buy, let me reword this for this person. You intend to buy quite a bit of the supply of VXV, which is no easy task. But at the price, as the price goes up every percent, you lose the equivalent percent in purchasing power, thus requiring more capital and revenue in the end. In turn, making the underlying goal take more time and more complicated in the end, is it not? Okay. So it would seem like that would be the case if you haven't run a publicly traded company before. If you've been involved with a U.S. publicly traded company, you understand that it is not an issue. When your trading vehicle increases or decreases, that's for anyone to say. No one can predict that. What we know is that we've committed to the public to engage in buybacks. And we've committed, more importantly, to ourselves. We're trying to acquire as much VXV as possible. And yes, the price has increased. However, that doesn't inhibit us whatsoever from achieving our goal of essentially competing in a free open marketplace for VXV, which we will do with revenue and capital. Question 3, Is there any further details around the tokenomics? It was said that the team's founding tokens have a 4-year lockup period. Only team members and certain partners are locked or vested. We will have more updates on the number of locked vested tokens in the future. Can I confirm the team tokens are still locked? Yes, we can confirm for you right now. The team's tokens are still locked. But let's also translate this question. The translation of this question is, will there be sell pressure against my positions? That's not something you have to worry about. It's best to focus on the revenue. Everything else will follow. Question 4. When the VXV platform is live, will retail investors be able to purchase or rent out datasets? Will this platform be available through the website? And this is a multi-part question here. Will this platform be available through the website with an easy-to-use user interface for non-technical investors who are unable to access the API? If it is still under development, will a wireframe or basic features functionality be released ahead of the product's release? So yes, it's important to separate our product offerings from institutional and retail. On the institutional side, you can separate those in 2 buckets, where one provides a signal, one product provides a signal, another product is the API that provides access to the data sets, and another product would be custom data engineering pipelines that we install based on proprietary data of the customers. When it comes to offering retail, the retail investor to be able to trade thematic baskets, there certainly will be a simple interface. There'll be a nice and friendly user interface. This is what we know how to do on the consumer side, so we'll have no problem there. But what we're looking forward to, of course, would be quickest path to revenue on the institutional side. Now, quickest path to revenue on the institutional side, that's going to get us to where we want to go. But quickest path to revenue on the retail side will get us to where we're going to go even faster. And overall, that just means we're going to target absolutely anything that gets us to consequential revenue as fast as possible. And that includes applications in legal technology, for example, and other industries. Question 5. Before we answer question 5, let me go back to question 4 and mention that we do plan on a retail offering Q1 2022. Question 5. After listening to all conference calls starting at the beginning, it's mentioned on January 27th, 2021, not knowing any other crypto company that runs a publicly traded vehicle. Any chance VXV or VGX/Voyager digital fits the bill? On that note, any chance you're in discussions with Steve Ehrlich to be listed? Or maybe not relevant, as to my knowledge. Voyager is not an exchange, more of a brokerage, and that's a question. So that's also a loaded question. So yes, Voyager, we have been introduced to the company just in terms of being aware of the company. And that's something that's a company that we will be engaging with shortly, but not before we fully engage with the current partners and customer base where we've been talking with over time here. And again, this is quickest path to revenue. Listing on an exchange is not the quickest path to revenue. And you'll want quick path. You'll want a quick path to revenue. You won't want a company that's focused on listing on exchanges constantly. They're not going to survive. Question 6. When discussing the new summary services that VectorspaceAI will be offering, it was said that we in fact founded a legal technology company. Does that mean VectorspaceAI founded it, or Kasian and some others? Kasian also stated on last week's conference call that there are other companies owned by the founders or executives of VectorspaceAI benefiting from the patented or unpatented technologies that facilitate the services that VectorspaceAI provides. Can you explain the nature of those relationships? Are those companies customers? Do they have proprietary or other rights to the tech used by VectorspaceAI? Also, the tech seems to be a derivative of tech previously used by companies owned and run by Kasian. Does that mean that some of the tech is owned by those or other companies, or by Kasian in a personal activity or capacity? Or is it all owned by VectorspaceAI? Well, let's just alleviate these concerns in one sentence here. All intellectual property is controlled and owned by us, and everything is going to be funneled into VectorspaceAI. So there's no concerns in terms of any relationships we've had in the past with any companies. But we're not interested in devaluing anything that we hold in terms of VectorSpace. And that's what we would be doing if we operated the way it was described there. And in terms of the legal technology company that was founded in the past, Neil Peretz is our chief legal counsel. It was with Neil Peretz that we co-founded a legal technology company in its very early stages. But then we went on to start VectorSpace. And we did do consulting on the legal side for Uber and in the e-discovery area. Question 7. With all the energy in crypto people that are using the VXV as investment rather than a utility token, are there any plans to harvest that energy and turn that energy into promoting evangelist opportunities? For example, a simple curriculum for people to follow to get people to better understand the hard tech and better promote its value to those who actually positioned to use VXV as utility. So first off, VXV being a utility token, anyone that holds a position in VXV has access to datasets. You are a customer. You become a customer when you hold VXV. As a customer, you have access to datasets. That's how that works. If the value of VXV rises, you can choose to sell your VXV to an institution or another retail investment group. In terms of promotions, we do not engage in the promotion of cryptos or stocks. Promoting a trading vehicle will run you afoul of the U.S. securities regulators and U.S. securities law. And we operate by the spirit of U.S. security regulations and securities law. Question 8. I have a question about capital raising. The fact mentioned that at the start of the company, capital was raised from friends and family. Is it still friends and family for the current round, or a venture capitalist, an institution, or something else? Well, we're talking to a variety of groups. We are talking with venture capitalists. We are talking with angel groups. We are talking with investment banking groups. We are talking with crypto investment groups. We are talking, more importantly, with corporate strategic investment groups. And the reason we say more importantly, the current partners and customers that we are talking with, the multi-billion-dollar customers and partners, they have multiple investment arms within these companies. And most are aware that Microsoft, for example, has investment arms. S&P has investment arms. Morningstar has investment arms. So as a matter of courtesy, we will be inviting them to the table with the other investors. So you can see that we have multiple classes of investors, as well as friends and family. We are currently not raising capital from friends and family. We are looking forward to closing on a formal round of capital, and that will be in the $5 million range. We are talking with groups. that we cannot disclose right now. These are private VCs, groups, the VCs that would like to remain private, angel groups that would like to remain private at this point. We will announce them after they give us permission, essentially. You can feel free to contact us if you'd like to be part of the formal round on the equity side. Question 9, I don't know if this has already been explained, but I am struggling to understand how the size of the capital correlates the effectiveness of the system predicting the markets. How will it work on a large scale if it doesn't work on a small scale? I would very much appreciate clarification. Well, it would be important to look up the term capital requirements. Not having enough capital to trade can bring down multi-billion-dollar hedge funds, as we've seen. If you don't have enough capital to trade, you can't take positions. You can't afford to take positions. If you're taking positions every day, if you're taking 2 to 3 basket positions every day, eventually you're going to have enough capital so that you're not over-levered, in fact. So balancing leverage and capital, that's that's something that can be a protection. Why borrow if you don't have to? Why over-lever yourself? So having enough capital is key to any trading system. You also have to understand that one basket might be orders of magnitude more expensive than another basket. One basket might have issues in it that are trading sub-penny or sub-$1 penny stocks. Another basket might have S&P 500 stocks, $1 trillion market cap companies that require massive amounts of capital just to position for a minimum amount of capital deployment. And of course, the amount of capital that you deploy impacts the market. That means that if you trade a basket in a synthetic system, not in a live market, you're not going to impact the way the order book reacts to your trade. If you can have too much capital, obviously. You can't move enough capital sometimes into certain baskets and positions. So capital management, the way you deploy your capital and allocate it across baskets, you need a maximum amount of flexibility, especially considering market conditions. Imagine taking on maybe about 3 or 4 baskets every day and having to hold those positions over a period of 6 days, where each day you are taking positions as opposed to liquidating positions. You have to follow the market, but you'll never be able to follow the market everywhere, obviously. So capital requirements, the management of capital in a trading system requires a significant amount of capital if you're going to be effective. So what we're looking forward to doing is de-risking based on capital management, and that requires having enough capital so that just in case something goes wrong, you can cover, you can come back, you can bounce back, you can take multiple positions, you can wait it out for a while, you can operate without leverage, operate without interest on that leverage. Question 10, is there a way to use the VXV system to check the severity or impact of a theme? Like, is this Evergrande a small fluke, or will it have wider systemic influence? Some headlines call it a Chinese Lehman Brothers situation. Can the AI be used to gauge impact? That's a tough one. Few systems can even do what we do. For starters, and that means create a thematic basket of stocks related to a global event in real time. Now, then after that, to be able to then determine the severity, that's pretty tough. We can't say we can do that. We can say that we can do it on a small level, but we can't say that we can do that in an effective manner today, given current innovation in natural language understanding. Next, we have a section that we've never had before. This is titled Special Events. The reason we named it special events is because it's not always going to be here. We've decided to include this section based on the Evergrande event. In 1990, the S&L crisis happened. This was the savings and loan crisis. It impacted real estate. It impacted the markets. 1991, I think it culminated in a small crash in the markets compared to what we see today. In 1998, the Russian ruble crisis happened and contagion happened. Systemic events began to impact world markets. In 1998, long-term capital management fell, LTCM. It would be a good idea to take a look at that documentation. There's a documentary related to it as well. That describes the 1998 Russian ruble crisis and the systemic nature of that crisis. In 2008, Bear Stearns fell March 13th. This triggered a systemic downfall around the world of all kinds of financial institutions, not just real estate related. Obviously, we know from the history here, and we saw the domino in real time. We were able to see the domino-like effect. We were actually in the markets at that time, testing a few systems. The systems that we were testing were based on our interdisciplinary research at Berkeley Lab. In 2004, we had tested the system based on that Merck and Vioxx debacle, the Vioxx debacle, and Pfizer having dropped after Merck dropped. The system that we created then was an early form of a basket or thematic basket generation system. We would test that from time to time in the markets. And in 2008, we noticed that Bear Stearns was likely going to be systemic. But as we were running our company SeekPod and rolling out product, growing the company, focused more on growth than anything else, we just pretty much sat back and watched until in September when Lehman fell. We collected a lot of interesting data points. It would be good to, again, check out a few documentaries related to those events in 1990, 1998, and 2008. They're explained quite well there. September 2021. There's a user by the name of Cato on the Thematic Baskets channel who brought us Evergrande. And when we saw this, we observed for about a week, and then we knew that thematic baskets related to Evergrande were going to be front and center here. So we produced a few, and in particular, our EVP, Executive Vice President of Operations, Pilsang Park, conducted an extensive analysis on the components. These are the stocks that our system predicted would have hidden relationships to Evergrande. So I'll let Pilsang Park take it over from here and explain the hidden relationships our system has detected between stocks and the global event Evergrande.
Thanks, Kasian. Thank you. I'm really happy to be here to discuss what our technology brings to the table. And right before I say anything, I would like to mention that nothing that I share here constitutes either trading or investment advice. These are not recommendations. This is merely to discuss what our technology can do. Now, the Evergrande Group is the second largest property developer in China. And I'm sure everybody knows property development is a big deal in China. Their stock has dropped 82% year to date. And their debt, which they might default on, is over $300 billion. So clearly a big deal. Some of the more obvious impacts for the potential bankruptcy of a real estate company would be with other real estate companies, REITs, who knows, maybe banks. However, that's not really something that we're necessarily as interested in. We specialize in finding hidden relationships, and that's what we're going to go through today. The Evergrande Group is something of a conglomerate. It has its finger in a lot of pies. This is true for a lot of large Asian or Chinese corporations. And so you'll see that there are a lot of different businesses that can be affected when something happens to a group like this. I'm going to go through a few of the stocks that appear near the top or at the top results correlation-wise for a basket that was extracted using the term Evergrande. The first stock I would like to discuss is Vector Biosciences. Now, at first glance, the idea that a biotech company and a real estate company would be connected seems very non-intuitive. If you dig a little deeper, you'll find that Vector Biosciences does SARS-CoV-2 COVID coronavirus research, and that research was funded by a grant from what is known as the Evergrande Foundation, clearly linked to the Evergrande Group. And by the way, separately on his own, kudos to Sir Bobby Dazzler, who is one of the members of our community. He also researched and found this hidden relationship. So congratulations to him. Now, whether anybody would make a trade on this or not is difficult to say. A financial analyst would need to do some additional digging before they would pull the trigger on something like this. I will say, however, that even just a little bit of looking found that Kodiak is a startup. They are net revenue negative, so there's a.
Hey, Pilsang, what's their symbol again? Can you mention this?
Sure. Kodiak symbol is CDAK.
Thanks.
Sure. And they're net revenue negative, and so I would imagine that any kind of funding that they have is important for them to keep. But we can move on to the next company, which is Magna International, MGA, Magna International. They manufacture vehicles and they provide services for engineering. Now, again, an auto company of some type seems not like it would be related to a property developer. However, if you may find that among its top 5 customers is the Evergrande New Energy Automotive Group, which is an EV initiative from the Evergrande Foundation. And they are one of the top 5 customers of Magna International. If you lose one of your top 5 customers, that can be a big deal. Another company is the Fanhua International, FANH. They're a property and casualty insurance company. And on the surface, that seems reasonable that a real estate company defaulting might have some issues for a property insurance company. But there's actually a little more to it than even that, because Fanhua International, being like most insurance companies, has partnerships with other insurance companies. As of February 2021, this year, among their partners, among their top 5 insurance company partners, is included the Evergrande Life Insurance Company. Again, an interesting connection that I don't think most people would find, at least not easily. The final company that I'll mention today is the Tata Motors company, TTM. Tata Motors is an automotive company. They design, manufacture, and sell vehicles. And they have an EV arm that's a major competitor, actually, to the previously mentioned Evergrande New Energy Automotive Group. However, even beyond that, Tata Motors is part of the Tata Group. And one of their affiliates is Tata Steel, which sells steel for real estate construction. And of course, the Evergrande Group is in real estate development, which is construction. And they are the second largest property developer in all of China. So you can see that there is a strong connection there as far as what might happen to the steel industry and impact from a bankruptcy from such a company. Anyway, those are just 4 examples of results from the Evergrande basket. I'm sure there are more things that anybody could find if they really wanted to dig, but hopefully they'll illustrate the power that that our technology here at Vectorspace, our NLP technology, provides for our customers. And that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thanks, Pilsang. Next, we'll move on to our strategy section. And as a reminder, we've got the trading show in Chicago on October 5th. We just wanted to mention that just in case anyone has not kept up on our conference calls. October 5th, we'll be on a panel, and you can look that up. It's the trading show in Chicago to find out more about it. We also have a few that might be attending the Converging Technologies Context Conference So this is spelled CONTEX. That is the Context Conference, October 7th in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And there we've got business leaders coming from multiple industries discussing the convergence of new technologies like artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, augmented reality, and other ecosystems that are directly related or impacting a variety of industries. And continuing in the strategy section, we are officially engaged in the process of executing buybacks. We'll keep the public updated on that process. And finally, as mentioned, NASA empowers its workforce to advance deep space technologies. This connects directly to our work in space biosciences. And more about this, continuing, NASA has selected 10 proposals led by early career employees across the agency for 2 projects that will support the development of new capabilities for deep space human exploration. These proposals were selected under Project Polaris, a new initiative to support the NASA workforce in efforts to meet the challenges of sending humans to the moon and Mars. Project Polaris seeks to fill high priority capability gaps on deep space missions like those planned under Artemis and introduce new technologies into human exploration spaceflight programs. The project also aims to create opportunities for early career employees across NASA centers to join and gain experience building and testing flight hardware while developing technologies and reducing risk for future human exploration missions. That's all that we have for this week's conference call. We encourage everyone to join next week's and, of course, the Chicago Trade Show. Until then, you can feel free to join us online. Thank you.